Good day, everyone, and welcome to our special edition of Wado City. I'm your host, Saple Promise, and today we'll be diving deep into the very topic that has sparked conversation in the Wado City struggle, understanding and advancing the Wado City Advocacy. And tonight we are honored to have with us a notable personality in the struggle, a man who has dedicated his time for the struggle. Is no other person than Dr. Ejiro Imuere. So, Doc, you are welcome to Wado City TV. So, Dr. Ejiro will be helping us to understand some aspects of this advocacy. And one of them will be what this advocacy stands for, the historical backing of this advocacy, and why it is a matter of identity and justice for the Urhobo. Doc, for the benefit of our viewers and our listeners, we would like you to give us an understanding, a brief understanding of the brief history of this Wado City advocacy.
Yeah, good evening, viewers. Thank you all for joining us, and I thank the anchor of the Wado City TV for inviting me to come and discuss the matter of Wado City advocacy. So, fellow Wadorians, Wado City will actually be Wado. Briefly speaking, Wado City advocacy is a concept, it's an alternative to bring a permanent, peaceful resolution to the Warri Township crisis. A lot of us most times feel that it is the duty of government to bring peace to our society. They feel that the people have no role at all to play. But in the first instance, it is the government that actually brought the problem. And so if the problem was started by the government, then how could the government give you a permanent and peaceful solution? Sometimes you have to devise your own peaceful solution and submit it to government. And when government will see the whole thing, that look, this thing is okay, government will accept it. Now, let me tell you a story here. I just want to digress a little. Sorry, viewers. The Okpa people, after about 166 years of interregnum in 1945, wanted to crown a king for themselves again. They want to have a king. The British emphatically said no, they will not encourage it. The British said that the Urhobos are trying to bring a king in Okpa area so as to reduce the overgrowing influence of the Uru of Warri, and they don't want it. That is going to bring a kind of unnecessary and unhealthy rivalry. The Itsekiri themselves were not also having a king. They were in an interregnum of 88 years, and by 1936, they had a king again in the person of Emiko Akingbuwa. And the Urhobos, because they were that time, both the Urhobos in the Western Urhobo area and the Itsekiris were in the same division called Itsekiri division. So the Urhobos now felt that the British colonialists have a different attitude towards kings than warrant chiefs. In fact, this brought an area where many Urhobo clans that hitherto do not like king, Urhobo are Republican people, the oldest man used to be their king, the head of the community, all started gravitating and look, we want a king. And so the attitude of the British was that no, we don't want king. As at that time, the Okpas had a paramount ruler, a clan head, Shifayo Mano, and 12 other Urhobo chiefs in Urhobo. They were ruling the whole of Okpa kingdom. But suddenly the Okpa people, spearheaded by the Okpa Union, said they wanted to have a king. They wrote to the British said, no, we cannot encourage such a thing. And the British delayed everything. But the Okpa themselves now crowned the king for themselves in 1945. But the king was not recognized by government. The government said, we told you before that we don't want, you would have a king. And so you now have a king that had no government support, no government salary. In fact, the British, according to Onigotite, by the document in the archive, so abhorred the open monarchy that they were calling the king Mr. Deveno Mebitaga. Mr. Deveno, they don't call him His Royal Highness Mr. Deveno Mebitaga. That was what they were calling him all the time, even after he had been crowned king. And so the other Urhobos from Udu, from Ughelli, they did mass protests in the whole of Urhobo land that the Okpek king must be recognized. But the white man did not budge. In Ibadan, because when the parliamentary son of God was Urhobo. And so what the Urhobo came visiting, and he was also the president of the UPU, they invited him to Rerope. And they asked him, Urhobo, this is our matter. Why don't you present it before the regional government in Ibadan? And then pass it to law and recognize the king. And Urhobo look and laugh. You have a king? Yes. You see, it's not your king, say yes. You have recognized the king, say, bring the king into the council yourself. Don't need to wait for the white man. Then let the person who is acting on behalf of the king, recognized by government, Shifayoman, or resign. Let the king take his place. Then 1 year later, tell the white man that you have since resigned, you Shifayoman have since resigned by the popular demand of the people, and the king has since taken his place, and you are now the vice president of the king. And that was what exactly what people did. And 1 year later, when the commission of the colonies came, Mr. Ayomano, when he was reading the speech at the head of the plan, he said, Commissioner, I have since resigned following the popular demand of the Okpek people that their king should take their place in the council. I have since resigned my position as the clan president of Okpek Clan Council, and His Royal Highness Mebitaga, the second, has since resumed as the king of the people. It has been on for over a year now. In other words, it wasn't the government that gave him staff of office, or they waited on the government. It would not have happened because the government said, no, we don't want it. But the people themselves found a way and put a burden on the government. And so, we have seen that the Warri Township crisis, government has been solving it with a kid's glove. For example, the various commission of the commission of Warri, the Dogo Commission, the Inedica Agro Commission, and the Dynama Commission have all recommended that a separate local government be created for the 3 local governments. One for the Urhobos, one for the Ijaws, and one for the Itsekiri. The government did not do it. Yet it's there. Now, the government recommended then, when the candidate was high, that the headquarters be moved from Ogidibere to Ijaw. Federal government for the recommendation. The commission of the parliament is by the government, but government is not implementing. But James Ibori, the governor had to take the bull by the horn, even though it wasn't the function of the governor to move local government headquarters, because local government headquarters is a constitutional matter, it's a federal matter. James Ibori used Delta State House of Assembly law to move the headquarters of the Warri Southwest local government from Ogidibere to Ijaw, and it brought peace. Now, those of us, early Urhobo people, I lost a friend in the former Warri crisis. It's an Okada man in Urhobo here. He went to Okada, didn't come back again. He was killed. Myself, the army officer around the Okere roundabout, when there was a curfew, I didn't know. I went inside the Okere to do something. It was very late. Everything roundabout there, the army sat me down till daybreak. And so we have to sit down and think. This thing that is happening, is there our own way of bringing out peace? And one of the fundamental things we realized was the name Warri. The name Warri had always been the source of problem, which many of our people don't even understand. Now, when they say who owns Warri, the Itsekiri people, because right from ancient time, their ancestral city called Itsekiri was known as Warri by the Europeans that attack the matter for that end that they own Warri. But there's a difference between Warri, Agbasa, Igbudu, Ejeba, and Ogunu. Most of you might not understand what I'm trying to say. Now, let's talk about Lagos. The original place that was called Lagos was Eko, which is the island. Lagos, they now call it Lagos Island. Ikeja was part of Lagos originally. Ikeja is another settlement of its own. Also, this another settlement of its own. Ekpe is another settlement of his own. Now, the Oba of Lagos today cannot say he owns Ekpe simply because Ekpe is now called Lagos. Ekpe have their own Oba, Badagry have their own Oba. So the name Warri, which originally was the Yoruba name for Itsekiri, was not extended by the colonialists to settlements of places like Agbasa, Igbudu, Okere, and Ejiro. In fact, there was a time that Warri was more than a district. It was not even a province, which means this current Delta state was actually Warri state if we are to travel back before 1952. But suddenly, when the Itsekiri wanted to resuscitate their throne after 88 years of interregnum, they said they wanted to be crowned as their Olu to be crowned as Olu of Warri. Fine. The British were actually calling him King of Warri when his ancestors were still at Ode Itsekiri. As at when the last king of Warri died in Ode Itsekiri before the interregnum, there was no Itsekiri settlement in this modern Warri at all. None. Obuangwe was founded by Prince Imuere. Obuangwe was founded by Prince Imuere around 1865. It means that whoever ruled the last Olu Akendua did not have overlordship over Obuangwe because Obuangwe didn't exist. You understand what I'm trying to say? Good. The same thing too, Ubeji was founded by Agbamu. Agbamu was the son of that Olu Akendua. It was when he died during the revolution that he fled to meet his mother's people in Ekma, and they settled him in Ubeji. It means Olu Akendua did not rule Ubeji because Ubeji did not exist as at when he was ruling. The same thing with Ubori, where the Olu Palace is now. It was founded by Prince Ewolufun. Ewolufun was also one of the sons of Olu Akendua. It means that Ubori was not founded when the last Olu died. So no initiative apart from Okere, which the Supreme Court has even held that the last Olu did not exercise authority over Okere. There is no Itsekiri settlement again in this modern Warri township. And so when the last Olu said, look, after the interregnum, he said, I want to be crowned as the Olu of Warri. All the Urhobo chiefs gathered together in Urhobo in 1936, led by Shefayo Mano, and they instructed the Udogu Ogbe to write a letter to the British government that this thing cannot work, because if you call him the Olu of Warri, it's going to give him an advantage because all of us now are now Warri people because we are now Warri province. And the British agreed. And they wrote to the Itsekiris that to you, the word Warri is from Imuere, which is an Itsekiri word. But to us, the British, the word Warri has sounded beyond the Itsekiris. Get the word. That is, it's like Abuja. Originally, Abuja is the area around that Zumarok, Abuja. It was not part of Gwagwalada, was not part of it. Buhari was not part of it. Kubwa was not part of it. But by the decision of the federal government trying to build a federal capital territory, the word Abuja has sounded beyond the indigenous Abuja people. It has not taken all over Gwagwalada, Metama, Asokoro. So they are not calling Metama. Abuja was just a town of its own. Metama was a town of its own. But that Abuja is now down to Abaji this way, which is almost 2 hours from the central area. Even a Kubwa. It was a government decision. So governments are saying no. To us, the word Warri has sounded beyond you. It is now the name of a district and the name of a province, in which you have indigenous people like the Ijaws, the Isokos, the Urhobos, and the Ika as citizens. So we can't give you that. And they accepted and they crowned him Olu of Itsekiri. But he kept pressing after he became crowned. He died in 1949, and his son, Ejiro II, entered into politics. Now, the British handed over regional government now to the locals following the Richard Constitution of 1940s. So the British were no longer the regional governors. And so, under Western region, Awolowo won. Unfortunately, the Urhobos voted for NCNC. Azikiwe was the head. Action Group, Awolowo was the head. Awolowo won. The Action Group, which Itsekiri supported, won that election. And it's like one of the promises he made to the Itsekiris is that he was going to restore the title of Olu of Warri to them. And so the argument was in the house. The Urhobo said, this matter has been settled before. But Awolowo said, but look at the merits. Was their king ever called Olu of Warri in ancient times? The answer is yes. And that is where many Urhobo historians are getting it clear. It wasn't that Awolowo, get it, that actually first called him Olu of Warri. He has been, and that is when you are avoiding a particular truth, you are making it difficult for government. You understand? Because a lot of people will be thinking, it was Awolowo. If it was Awolowo, why David Ejiro and Urhobo man, why did he not change it? Why Felix Ibru, why did he not change it? Why James Ibori, why could he not change? Why all those military regime are dictator? Even when they were solving the Warri crisis, when they were creating the four kingdoms, the military had the might to change it back to Olu of Itsekiri. But the truth is this: he has been called King of Warri. The original place called Warri was Odi Itsekiri. The difference is that the name Warri was now extended to Agbasa land. Let me tell you one thing. When Agbasa was judging case with the Itsekiris, the Opako of Agbasa, Shifo Menta, who was the Agbasa people, said, I don't know how the name Warri came to be applied to my village, Agbasa. Get that statement very clear. I have the record of proceedings. I will show you. They leased Agbasa land as part of to the British, and he went there to say, no, this is not part of this one is not part of Itsekiri land. We are Agbasa people. He made a statement that I don't know how the name Warri came to be applied to my village called Agbasa. What does that tell you? It means that Agbasa was Agbasa. It was never part of Warri, but nevertheless, there was a place they recognized to be Warri. So, Awolowo said, no, we cannot deny the fact that he was called Olu of Warri or King of Warri in ancient time. If that be the case, even though it has political undertone, let's agree with it, because the justice can be of two ways. What am I saying? Justice can be of two ways. This: if the Oba of Benin today decide to change his title to Oba of Edo, will he be correct? Yes, he will also be correct, because his people are the Edo people. But there's a problem. Edo is also now the name of a state. Ekpoma people, Aushi, very many people are in Edo state. If they not protest, please, you can't call Oba of Edo, because there are other people in Edo state. So let him remain as Oba of Benin. That one will bring absolute peace. And that was what the British did. And since Warri now is a name that came from the Itsekiris, but it has now been applied to an entire province, and let's give him his alternative name, Olu of Itsekiri. But it's not that when you want to call the Oba of Benin today Oba of Edo, it's not as if it's wrong, because he rules over Edo people. They speak the Edo language. A king can be named after his capital city or after the people he's ruling. For example, you have the Oni of Ife. His title is what? After the capital city, the city of Ife. The Alafi of Oyo, after the capital city. The Oba of Benin, after the capital city. But Esu Nupe It's not Esumina. His honor is his people, his kinsmen that is ruling. The Ata of Igala land is not the Ata of Ida. Ida is his capital, but he decided to use it's a people that is ruling. Then the third thief. Now that has been the argument. The most peaceful way before is Oluwafishekiri, but the man, the Itsekiri people, seeing the undue advantage of the word Warri, decided to pressure government, and government bowed to their demand. Immediately, there were riots. In fact, the UPU at that time was torn to their bone marrow. They expelled Itsekiris from the whole of Urhobo land. Itsekiri had a massive village in Okrere village called Umogba. It used to be a camp where they used to carry good stuff and slave down to abroad. Today they lost that settlement forever. They didn't come back again. The same thing in JC. And the UPU now placed food embargo on the Itsekiris. Nobody's supposed to sell. The UPU set up a task force in Kavajina Primary School there. And the Itsekiris were not starving. Food were not going to the river Rhine. The Oba of Benin Obakens had to come to broker peace. And when the thing became tough, Awolowo invited everybody again to Ibadan. How do we solve this problem? They brainstormed and they said, in that case, if we have to do that, then we have to change the name of the province so that it can have its Olu of Warri, and the whole of the province, Delta State now, Warri province now became Delta province. So that is where the word Delta State came from. If not, this state would have been Warri State. I don't understand. But Awolowo solved the problem halfly, in the sense that Warri districts, Warri division that also contained indigenous Urhobos and Ijaws was left alone. Awolowo would have also changed Warri division, which is now, when I became Warri local government, to be Delta division. So, like Warri local government was supposed to be Delta South local government. He didn't do it for an obvious reason. And at that time, the Urhobos that time were quiet. They did not continue the advocacy. They did not continue the battle. That's why sometimes our people are very, very funny. They just give them a little thing, they forget about the whole thing. Yes, please finish the whole thing. Our people are still there. And after the carnage, we saw again that the name Warri, apart from the fact that it was wiped out from Urhobo land, it has started coming back through urbanization. So, you now got to an extent, before the Wado City Advocacy, Osubi Airport was called Warri Airport, the Ujewu Railway was called Warri Railway, the Efru Barrack was called Warri Barrack Efru, the Warri Refinery, with the Ekpan Refinery, is called Warri Refinery. So the name has grown. In fact, I went to the university calling myself a Warri boy. Just imagine, because I didn't know the history of our people. But certain things begin to happen again. You know, sometimes as a parent, if somebody is insulting your father who, being an old and experienced man, might not want to. You understand? We were here. The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria then, Yemi Osunbanjo, came to visit Delta State. 24 kings of Urhobo land, for God's sake, were there waiting for him in PTI. Only one Urhobo kingdom, the Ope kingdom, is bigger than the whole of Itsekiri kingdom. The population of Agbon kingdom is bigger than the entire Itsekiri race. The Ugeli kingdom is more ancient than the Itsekiri kingdom, with an unbroken dynasty. There was no interregnum. Ugeli had a first king in 1425. As at that time, Ginowa was still in Benin. 24 kings were waiting for the vice president at PTI Conference Center. They waited, and then the next thing we had that the vice president went to meet the Olu in palace for obeisance. In other words, they passed. In the recess, the vice president is landing in Osubi Ope Kingdom, not Warri. But in his psyche, he feels that he's coming to Warri Airport. And so landing in Osubi Airport is supposed to go straight to the Oroje Palace. But this time around, the Oroje and other people, even were, other 24 chiefs went to wait for him at PTI Center. To make this easier, If not, in the real sense, he's supposed to visit the Olojo of Okpe, visit the Ovi of Uwie, then visit the Ovi of Agbara, visit the Olojo of Okere, then before going to see the Olojo of Warri. But so that they will not have the excuse, you know, the vice president, I can't move this. Like, why don't you come together as one tribe? To make this easier, the UPU and the 24 kings were there at the PTI Conference Center. He drove past them, and then they heard that he has gone to visit the Olu of Warri. And so the Urhobo nation became agitated. Most of the kings got annoyed and left the venue. The same thing too, when we had one time the DPO of a popular police station in which the local government came. He wanted to do a tour with the area, familiarization with the area. He went to the Olu Palace. Warri is in another senatorial district, Delta South. The DPO is supposed to visit the Ovi of Uwe and Ekpan. When they asked him, he said he didn't know. He said he thought that Ekpan was part of Warri. And so when I said no, this Warri is still causing problem till tomorrow. Most times, when a lot of things, projects, empowerment at the federal want to take place in Warri, it is the Olu they meet. They don't meet our king because of that side. And so we say no. Let us help complete what Awolowo started. Now, so some of you who are non-Urhobos, when you say you are going to Warri, you will end at a full roundabout. You call it Warri roundabout. You are not in Warri. The NRA junction we are hearing is not Warri. NRA junction Warri. Urhobo College Warri. No, NRA junction is not Warri. Esco supermarket is not Warri. The refinery is not Warri. Now, we are not saying that. If you look at all the places called Warri, about 90% belong to Urhobo. And so, we ought to be respected and seen as the owner of the entire conurbation. But the Itsekiri's Olu is being seen. And that is not good to us of this generation. So we said, why not give an Urhobo indigenous name to the entire continuum of Urhobo territories? For example, Otokutu is a new city called Plantation City. They call it Otokutu Warri. No. So we said an Urhobo word that is commonly spoken by all Urhobo, which is Urhobo Wado, should be used to name those areas. Now, a lot of people have been thinking that we are renaming Warri. We are not renaming Warri. Warri will still be Warri, but Warri should be applied to the area that traditionally. We are not renaming Igbudu. Igbudu is Igbudu. What we're trying to say is there is now an Urhobo city wrongly called Warri. Now what I'm trying to say is that Agbaro has already joined to Uwie, has already joined to Okokoko, down to Udu, down to Uruwuru, down to Osubi here. In the next 10 years, it will be Orerope. Because the Urhobos refuse to give that conurbation, that comprise something a name. It is now being called Warri. What I'm saying is that if you don't name your city, let me get it clear. If an urban area joins together with a rural area, the rural area will take the name of the urban area. That's what is happening now. So whenever the civilization, the township meets, Adeje will not be called Warri. We are saying it shouldn't happen like that. We should give it an Urhobo name called Wado City, so that anywhere it goes, it becomes Wado City. So we are not renaming Igbudu to Wado City. We are adding Igbudu to Wado City. Get what I'm saying? We are not renaming Agbasa to Wado City. We are adding Agbasa to Wado City. We are adding Ekpa to Wado City. We are adding Otokutu to Wado City. We are adding Osubi to Wado City. We are adding Ororobe to Wado City. So that at the end of the day, let Warri be confined to only the Itsekiri territory. We are not going to add Ubuangwe, Ubori, Ekrode Itsekiri, Ode Itsekiri, Ubeji to Wado City. Those places are under the territorial jurisdiction of the Olu of Warri, and rightly so. The government have already, in their gazette and law, even made a law, and Only the Olu of Warri was gazetted as Olu of Warri. Ovie of Agbara, which is the Agbara people, was just Ovie of Agbara, or Roswe of Okere Urhobo. Warri was not added. So the government on its own has traditionally said these people are not Warri people. Only you, the king, is the Warri. So why should they call themselves Warri if their king cannot be addressed as Ovie of Warri? Why should the Oroswe call himself Oroswe of Warri? Why should he call himself when his title is Oroswe of Okere Urhobo? He's an Okere Urhobo man in Warri Central government, for God's sake. The same thing too, when the government created a CDC for them, a mini local government, they created Agbara CDC with the headquarters in Otowodo. The same thing, Oroswe Okere Urhobo CDC with the headquarters in Okumagba Avenue. The government has already made that demarcation when it said only one of the king is Olu of Warri. The rest, and of course, two kings cannot bear the same name. It's going to be problematic. So this is just the summary. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Doc, for all that you have said. I think on the last question, or the second to the last question we want to take. Today, youths, we have seen a lot of videos on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, of youth going around defacing billboards, posters, samples that Warri is inscribed on them in areas that are not known to be Warri. What is your take on these activities of this youth?
It's okay. Thank you very much. You know, this is an advocacy. An advocacy gives a message. The message is caught by recipients. And the recipients are not forced to react. We have Wado City members, we have forum, but the message of Wado City today can get to people who are not our members, but they will see the merit of our message and then act on it. Personally, I don't encourage illegality, and I'm not a proponent of illegality. I have never told any person to go and deface a billboard and go and remove inscription of something that is there. What I do is call the attention of the person who produced the billboard. That billboard you put there, that place is Oha, it's not Warri. For God's sake, Warri is in Delta South Central District. It's in another local government, another senatorial district. Oha is Okbe local government. Oha is in Delta Central. There is no relationship whatsoever for Warri to be in Oha. So you are building an estate, you know, so estate, Oha Warri. Is wrong, is provocative. Now, the question is, if I call you, please go and correct that your billboard, give it the correct name, remove Oha, remove Warri, put Oha near Urhobo, and you refuse to do it. Oha have people who own the place. The youths are there, the old men are there. And then they go there and say, what is wrong? Why is this person calling our town Warri? And they slash the Warri out of the place. Have they done anything wrong? I think the question is left to you. The person is just saying, don't call. In all, I'll be following some of this, and I've not seen where they destroy the entire billboard. That means they are not people that actually want trouble. They are only trying to correct something. It's just like I go to somewhere and I go to maybe I am in a Delta state now, and I'm in Ogara. And I say Delta State Teaching Hospital, Ogara, Edo State. If the government of Delta State decide to clean the Edo State and put Delta State inside, have you committed any offense?
Not. So thank you so very much, Doc. I think what you have said and what I want our viewers and our listeners to know, you have said it up and plain that you are not in support of any violent move, and the Wado City Advocacy are also not in support of such. You have not told anybody to go and remove anything, but however, that the right thing should be done, because we also heard and we also seen, I think in Uwe local government, if I'm not mistaken, where the legislative arm also enacted a law, toward that effect. So, what is your advice for other local governments where these infractions are being committed on daily basis? Take for example, Urhobo, you hear Urhobo Warri Road, where Warri is not even anywhere close. Even if we are to even call the next neighboring local government to Okpa local government, is Uwe local government, and the next community to the last community in Urhobo, in Okpa local government, is Efu. So it is supposed to be Efu Urhobo Road, not Warri. So what is your advice for other local government where these infractions are being committed?
Yeah, it is something that we have to fight from ourselves. Like I've told you the other time, that it is not everything that you call on government to do for you. Personally, I don't use in my correspondence, I don't use Urhobo Warri Road. I use Urhobo Efun Road. Because there is no way you can call the area. They have a lot of things to do. Even there is some, you have Efun Warri Road. Instead of it to be Efun Sapele Road, they call it Warri Bini Road instead of Efun Bini Road. Our people have a lot of things to do. Right there in Uwe Motor Park, you will be seeing people Warri to Bini, Warri to Bini, Warri to Bini, Warri to Bini. The word Warri has eaten so deep into our people. This thing that I'm talking to you is happening in Asaba. Opanam people are telling you, don't call our area Asaba. If you put Asaba, they will clean the soundboard and the youth will find you. This is not even a local government law. It's, of course, we have youth secretariat now. They will bundle you to youth secretariat and say, why did you call our committee? The gods are angry. Now come and pay so thing. Want to, our gods, before the gods kill us, we want to go and serve the shrine for desecrating the land. If you call Okpe land Warri, the ancestors of Okpe are angry. So the youth, at the time coming, youth will bundle you to the youth secretary. But by the time they do that, even bundle you when we pastor. And of course, what case do you have? You want to say that I called their town. They made a law. They said, don't call my town. So. Even where the ex-governor, Okowa, his side is Agbo. They say, don't call our side Agbo. We are Owa people. Boji Owa. That is how they call themselves. So, we are saying, don't call Urhobo land Warri. Don't call Uwe Warri. Don't call Okpe Warri. It has no political basis. It has no legal basis. If there is a political basis, let me know. The only political basis was the Warri province of 1952. And the government saw merit. And the government said, change it immediately to Delta. Don't call these people Warri. So, why are they, the government itself, the mind of governments sometimes want to call the whole area Warri. That is why they give us facilities. Warri airport, this airport, this airport, this airport. Now, but government knows that it's not right to. When government...
No, Doc, what we really want you, the area we want you to address here is what should those local governments, just like Uwe has set the pace. What is your take? What is your advice to those local councils where this infraction, say for example, you still go to some places under Ugele, not local government, see being addressed as Warri. You go to Ugele South, Udu, some communities in Udu local governments, you still see the inscription. One place either Onwia Warri, you still see that Warri.
Yeah,
So,
it's for them to follow the Uwe example, enact a law to that effect, because the law is actually the weapon. We at the Wado City Advocacy, like I told you, we don't support tearing of billboard. What we do is this: we take you to court using that law. The law prescribed about 1 year imprisonment for wrong naming of their community. It was law duly passed by the legislative arm. It's there. You understand? We are going to start, we will start using some people as an example. That is our own position of Wado City. But the people, those who are not part of Wado City, like those youth who got the message, can on their own go there and remove, say, this our place is not Warri. You can't call it Warri. You can slice that Warri from the place.
Thank you so very much, Doc. So listening to you, I think my own perception, and I believe the perception of our listeners must have changed hearing all that you have said. I think from all we can gather is that this Wado City Advocacy is a very peaceful one and something that will bring a lasting peace to everybody. It will be a win-win to everybody. And also, I still want to also add this. Now, in the course of all of this that you have done, because we knew when it all started, it started like a very small bushfire, and the thing has gone into the conscience of people. Hence, we are seeing you coming up now to remove, to see that there is an infraction. Even when the laws are not there, they are removing all of these things quietly. What are some of the challenges that you are facing, that you people are facing in this Wado City Advocacy? What are some of the challenges?
Yeah, the challenges that we are facing has to do with our allies. Although our allies are not really against us verbally, they've not come to say, look, we're against you, but they've not given us that practical support.
And please, what do you mean by our allies? Who are these allies you're talking about?
Politicians.
The political class.
The political class.
What about the religious class?
The religious class.
The traditional rulers.
Traditional rulers, some of them see reasons with them. But of course, you know, the traditional rulers most times work with the body language of the political class. Because nobody wants to be in the bad books of the political class. That is the level we have seen ourselves. So most of them are somebody can support you now, but immediately his political leader issues a counter statement, he can deny that he ever supported you. So what we do, like I was telling them, the Wado City Advocacy people, that the battle to change the title of the Olu of Itsekiri to Olu of Warri started in 1936. It was achieved 16 years later. It took a whole 16 years of working, writing, petition over and over again. What we are doing is to build a consciousness now to people. A generation will grow up. For example, the president of the UPU Youth Wing, Comrade Urhobo Blessed, has publicly endorsed Wado City that Urhobo youth worldwide have accepted Wado City Advocacy. But he is not the ruler of the Urhobo nation. The ruler of the Urhobo nation is the parent body, which is the UPU. The UPU is silent. Silent can mean either consent or dissent. You understand? Now, but the UPU too does not own the Urhobo nation. You have the Urhobo Council of Kings, Kukuruvi Urhobo. And so, the Urhobo nation is so conservative that you have concurrence. There must be concurrence of the UPU, the Urhobo Council of Kings, the Urhobo political class, then the chairman of the 8 local government of Urhobo lands, the PG of the 24 kingdoms. Again, the PG again is different again. You have the Upe Union, the Agbo Union, and the rest. They have an association of PG too. So to get a resolution passed by the Urhobo nation is something that takes time. All of them have to be, convinced. But by and large, no organ of the Urhobo nation, either the kings, the UPU, the PG, have come out publicly to denounce the Wado City Advocacy. About 4 years now.
Thank you so very much. Now, in the course of all of this that you have said, you can see that it is an Herculean task. It is a thing that will take a lot of time. So in the interim, what do you think as a probable panacea to all of this problem? Before we can get to that one, like you rightly said, from when they changed it from Olu of Itsekiri to Olu of Warri, it took 16 years, and Warri advocacy is just 4 years. Now, while we wait for that meeting of all of those councils, what is your final take on the way forward? What are the things we need to be doing now while we wait for that decision-making body to give us their full stamp?
Is the golden advice given by a great Urhobo elite, Otive Ibuzo, who was the former chief of staff to the Omar again. He said, getting the government to pass this thing will be difficult. He said, but we on our own should just start using it. For example, you have an occasion. You say, well, but the marriage ceremony will take place in Clinton Hotel or Subi Wado City. Nobody will arrest you for that. You understand? For example, if you write today, the football match will take place in AC College, Igudu Wafi. Wafi. Nobody endorsed Wafi. Nobody has even, but it became a norm because the people generally accepted it. And so, somebody in the motor park go and say, Wafi, 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 Wafi. We understand it. So what I'm trying to say is this. We should keep using it. Wado, 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 wado. When people wado now Urhobo people now they call Warri wado like that. So if you have football competition, comedy, things you want to do, event center, shows, marriage ceremony, burial ceremony, just keep using the word. You just put Efru Wado City or Subi Wado City, Otokutu Wado City in your marriage card. As a religious center, as a pastor, say I'm holding the crusade in Otokutu Wado City. Nobody will come and stop you.
Thank you so very much. Our viewers will all heard from a very notable personality in the Wado struggle, Dr. Ejiro Imuere. He has there his mind, and from all that we can gather, we can see clearly that the Wado City Advocacy is a peaceful way to resolve this age-long crisis. And for every one of us who are still nursing and still skeptical about this whole thing, it is not a recipe to problem, to any crisis, but rather it is a solution to the lingering problem. I want to enjoy every one of us to take good steps and to act within the purview of the law. Nobody should take the law into their hands in the quest of this advocacy. The advocacy is peaceful and it remains peaceful. Once again, Doc, so what is your final take on all of this? Your final word of advice?
Yeah, thank you very much. Maintain the peace. Like Goodluck Jonathan was saying, he said by election is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. The Wado City Advocacy is not worth the blood of any Urhobo man, not worth the blood of any Itsekiri man, not worth the blood of any Ijaw man. It's simply using a change of name to solve a great problem. We will not advocate that Ugbuangwe, Ubeji, Ifye, Ugbori, Ajamoga, Ekurele Itsekiri, which we know are rightly Itsekiri territory, rightly called Warri, to be called Wado City. We can't do that. You understand? But we are saying that Urhobo territories, Enere, Efru, Otokutu, Igudu, where Urhobo community are in existence and where the government has recognized and even gazetted king for Urhobo people. to be called Wado City. So that in the next 20, 30 years, there will be no crisis. Say, I will get Warri. We just say, Warri na Itsekiri people area now. Ogbonangwe, Ubeji, Ifye, Nade. We na Wado people.
Again, Doc, we really want to thank you for your time, and we look forward to also bringing you back to also bear your mind on so many other issues that we are having. We expect to see you. Thank you so very much, and goodbye from all of us from Wado City.
When you're like, oh fresh, oh